one of the very simple interventions is project-wide health and safety plans. It's no good the contractor having a health and safety plan and the construction project manager doesn't have one and the client doesn't have one.
Correct.
And the designers do not have one.
Correct.
And that applies to quality management. For example, the OH&S inspector of the Department of Employment and Labor, they do not visit clients or design practices to interrogate their compliance.
Hello and welcome to My Safety Hub, your go-to source for all things health and safety. We are still here at the Saiosh 2025 conference, and today I'm joined with Professor John Smallwood, Professor of Construction Management in the Nelson Mandela University. Professor, how are you doing today?
Thank you for the opportunity to be interviewed, Dylan. That is by My Safety Hub.
Of course. Professor, I just have a few quick questions for you after your revolutionary presentation and an eye-opening one at that. My first question to you is, what is your views on the quality and effectiveness of construction education systems in South Africa? And do you believe that they adequately equip individuals with the necessary competencies to ensure health and safety in the industry?
Obviously, there are a range of disciplines involved in the built environment and not necessarily just relative to the 6 statutory built environment councils. Needless to say, in the case of the SACP-CFP, the South African Council for the Project and Construction Management Professions, more than one registration category exists. So there's several disciplines. And then, of course, there are disciplines that are not represented by the SACP-CNP and the other 5 statutory built environment councils. In general, and it's a generalization, built environment as opposed to construction-related tertiary education is inadequate in terms of assuring a product that is capable of managing health and safety and quality. And for that matter, other project parameters such as the environment. And therein lies the challenge. But it's not only at tertiary education level, it's also at skills training level relative to the TVETs, among others.
Of course, and regulatory bodies also play a huge role in the construction industry. So, how can regulatory bodies and industry associations promote a better health and safety practice in the construction industry?
Well, employer associations, among others,
Yes.
should, or rather must, include H&S criteria and quality criteria for membership, or to become a member, rather. And in a similar vein, the Construction Industry Development Board, the National Home Builders Registration Council, and then relative to the regulatory authorities and, of course, the legislation and regulations, there are a range of interventions that should or must be undertaken. And the scope of services in the case of the statutory built environment councils, the respective scope of services need to be revisited to ensure, among others, that the required interventions and outputs or deliverables represent better practice health and safety and better practice quality. There's been a lot of muttering by various people, including certain government ministers, which is not necessarily the solution. However, once again, it's a case of back to basics. And it's not difficult to construct a building or structure, or for that matter, laying a pipeline without killing people and without generating rework. But as alluded to by your questions, there are obviously problems.
Yes.
And unfortunately, health and safety and quality cannot be inspected into the physical construction process and its activities. And one of the very simple interventions is project-wide health and safety plans. It's no good the contractor having a health and safety plan and the construction project manager doesn't have one and the client doesn't have one.
Correct.
And the designers do not have one.
Correct.
And that applies to quality management. And but the regulatory authorities, for example, in the case of health and safety, for example, the OH&S inspector of the Department of Employment and Labor, they do not visit clients or design practices to interrogate their compliance.
Yeah.
So therein lies a major challenge. And of course, in the United Kingdom, the Health and Safety Executive has historically undertaken visits to design practices and interrogated, among others, their design, hazard identification, and risk assessment related interventions, because we need to design out the problems. And furthermore, the fact that an inadequate geotechnical investigation is not undertaken is bizarre.
Yeah.
It's beyond bizarre. It's a requirement of the construction regulations. Designers are required to provide the client and the contractor via the client with a geotechnical report, regardless of the nature of the project. Whether they're collapsible soils or not, it's a non-issue.
Yeah.
It's a requirement. It's a returnable. And yes, and it begs the question, the revised role, or what the revised role of building control officers in South Africa should include or entail.
I agree.
They should, for example, flag the geotechnical report. Whether they're currently required to do so, I will leave that to you and others. That's their homework, not my homework.
Definitely.
And then there are other very simple interventions. For example, clients are required, in terms of the 2014 construction regulations, to conduct a baseline risk assessment and produce an H&S specification. H&S specifications should include or reflect the raw risk,
Yes.
and even better, the residual risk if designers have managed to eliminate or substitute, for example, hazardous materials and processes. But that's not interrogated.
Yeah. No, I fully
A building control officer, for example, could interrogate that. It could be a deliverable
Yes.
as part of the planning submission process. So there are opportunities for improving the built environment related processes with a view to assuring health and safety, quality, and for that matter, protection of the environment.
I agree. And that must be done holistically to ensure a safe, healthy working environment.
Absolutely, Dylan.
Fantastic. Professor John, I thoroughly thank you for all your valuable insights and information you shared with us today. I wish you all the best for the future and take care for the rest of the evening.
Thank you, Dylan, and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you.